Welcome back. Now that you've watched the Nailing the Product Sense video, you should have a really solid foundation for how to think about the product sense question. If the goal of the Nailing the Product Sense video was to make you feel comfortable with how to tackle the interview, the goal of this video is to make you feel confident. And we'll do so by covering the main difficulties that I see people having when tackling the product sense interview. Today we'll cover pro tips discussing different question types, solution challenges, other preparation tips, and even how to tackle an advertising product sense question. But before jumping into each one by one, the quick overview of the pro tips we'll cover include how to approach real products differently, how to talk about your favorite product, how to balance having a simple solution while still showing you're creative, solution archetypes that can help you brainstorm solutions, some of the types of interjections that you should expect from the interviewer and how you can answer them, sample product sense questions you should prepare for, the recommended amount of practice to do to be fully prepared, and finally, how to approach advertising questions. Starting with how to approach real products differently. Now, if I remember back on the day of my interview, there was one question that I was worried about getting, and that was, how would you improve X real product? The reason I was worried was obvious. How could I possibly find something meaningful to improve when there was likely a team of 100 people who'd been working on improving this product for the last 10 years? If you think the same way, I'm going to try to change your mind completely. Instead of viewing a real product as a harder question, I'll share a way to think about this that will make this easier than a hypothetical product question. The key thing to realize is that the strength of a product is very often its weakness as well. The more people that a product serves, the more likely it's catering to the average needs of users as opposed to the needs of any specific user. So the way to attack an established product is very simple. When brainstorming user dimensions, think about extreme users that have unique needs. For instance, when talking about engagement level specifically, real products rarely ever serve the extremes here. So on one hand, I would talk about the power users, and on the other, I would talk about the people who have either never used this app or use it very rarely. Because when talking about either of these groups, in the needs section, I guarantee that they would have really interesting pain points. You can even get more specific here by talking about different types of engagement. For instance, people who react to things or don't react to things, comment or don't comment, share or don't share, etc. So I guarantee people that comment all the time, probably if you talked about their pain points, have a hard time keeping track of people who reply to their comments or avoiding uncivil comment battles. And people, on the other hand, who never comment probably have pain points around not knowing who the poster is, so they feel uncomfortable. Maybe they're not sure who would see their comment. Maybe they don't know what to comment. Maybe they're afraid of getting in an uncivil comment battle, etc. So these are two very different types of people with different extreme pain points. The other dimension bucket that is a weakness of real products is user motivation. Real products rarely serve every motivation fully. So here I would strive to think of all of the different reasons someone may use this product, and then pick one that seems unique and likely to have significant pain points in the next section. So let's do an example. Let's say you're given the question, how would you improve Facebook groups? Now, before I get into the answer, let's just get in the mindset here. Facebook groups is used by probably 1 billion people every day. So imagine being in this team. While they've surely done a great job of finding core needs that 1 billion people have in common, I guarantee there are tons and tons of unique needs that different users have that Facebook groups is inherently unable to solve because they don't want to create an overly complex product. So keep this in mind when you're brainstorming user dimensions, and specifically look for extreme user types. Now let's get into how I could answer this. So I could say, when I'm in the user section, one area where users differ is in their engagement levels. In Facebook groups, consumers can engage in various ways. First, they can join groups. There are many people who are part of multiple groups, but on the other end, there are also many people who are part of zero or close to zero groups. Next, people can view posts in groups. For the people who are part of many groups, they could see as many as 100 posts per day. And on the other end of the spectrum, there are people who view very few posts per day. And these are very different types of users. Consumers can also react to posts when they see them. I know some people who will react to nearly every post they see. And there are other people who are very sparing and almost never react to posts for various reasons. And finally, consumers can also comment on posts. So here, there are probably people who comment really frequently on posts, often getting in long conversations with lots of different people on a daily basis. And on the other hand, there are people who almost never comment. Okay, now that we've talked about engagement level, another area where users differ is their motivation for using Facebook groups. Now, there are tons of groups out there, but let's try to brainstorm some different types to get a feeling for different motivations for using Facebook groups. So first, let's think about education. I know there are school groups that connect parents that want to stay on top of what's happening at their kids at school. And I also know there are groups for students to help each other out on various subjects. Another motivation that people have to use groups is for entertainment purposes. For instance, there are lots of groups devoted to memes and other funny things found around the internet. And here people just want to have fun and laugh. There are also groups that bring social groups together. So for instance, I'm a part of my college alumni group that tries to keep thousands of us connected with what's happening with the school. And I know that some people have groups for their book clubs where they'll decide what book to read, discuss the book, and share links to other relevant books people may like. And finally, let's say there are people who are motivated to join local groups. And in these groups, neighbors of or people of local areas can buy and sell goods, they can exchange information about the place they live, and even discuss important topics like safety, education, housing, etc. All right, I'll pause there. Just look at these areas that I listed down. As you can probably imagine, I could pick almost any one of these. Then in the needs section, get really pessimistic and come up with multiple pain points about why Facebook groups is not serving this particular person really well. Then I would design specific features within groups or a custom group type that would serve these users better than the one-size-fits-all product that exists today. So remember, real products are no harder than hypothetical products. Just attack them in the user section. Find an interesting extreme, likely an engagement level or motivation buckets, and talk about all the reasons why this person has different needs and pain points than the average user. Okay, let's move on to the next pro tip. How to talk about your favorite product.